although not everyone would know that whether this is a yellow-throated vireo or a yellow-throated warbler, there are millions of bird watchers in the United States and a massive number of people globally that take time out of their day to enjoy birds and are inspired by them. It's easy to understand why. They're beautiful, colorful, engaging, comical. They occur everywhere from the plains of sub-Saharan Africa to iceberg-laden oceans of Antarctica. And they're no less striking in our suburban backyards than they are in Amazonia. They fly while we only dream of flying. Imagine this Arctic tern migrating 44,000 miles, more than twice around the planet each year. Or think about this scarlet tanager just down the street in Rock Creek Park, which probably spent the winter in Amazonian Peru and started north about a month ago, flying under its own wing power. All that movement and changeover makes it really fun for bird watchers. Every time we go out, it's like a treasure hunt. You never know what species you're going to find. I visit a local park near my house in Boston. I've been there over 1,100 times, and every few months I find a new species for that place. I started my bird watching at age 11, and 10 years ago, I landed my dream job at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, where we're all united by this dream that birds can save the world. This, of course, doesn't mean that a flock of eagles is going to swoop in and carry us away from the apocalypse. But the very fact that so many people love birds and that they give us so many reasons to love them place birds among the very best ambassadors of the planet. So I'm here on behalf of EBird, which really isn't a single app, but really a whole family of apps that we use to understand birds all around the planet. So it's a citizen science effort to collect and harness the power of all those bird watchers. And it's founded on the hypothesis that amateur birdwatcher data can be useful for science and conservation. This fortune cookie says your observations are useful to others. And while this fortune cookie may think that, it was not universally accepted by the ornithological establishment when eBird was released. The notion that someone counting chickadees and cardinals at their backyard bird feeder can generate useful scientific data really required some proof. So in order to prove that, eBird had to start collecting good data, and it had to collect a lot of it. But in its first 2 years, the curve was completely flat. It floundered with its initial do-gooder message that you should contribute your birds to science, you'll help save the planet, it'll be good for birds and good for the world. But the truth is, we're all busy. People need rewards and incentives to do something as boring as data entry. And it wasn't until we built those incentives into the program that we started to see the bird watchers use it, and the data started to take off. So we added games that bird watchers loved. And above all else, bird watchers love statistics, maybe second only to baseball fans. Ask any birder about their list totals, and you'll almost always get an exact answer. So for me, it's 3,812 in the world, 857 in the United States, 373 in my home state of Maryland, and 216 in my local park in Massachusetts. A new bird for any of these lists would literally make my day. But what used to require expensive software packages, now eBird's giving away for free. And we generate all kinds of stats, pages and pages to tally your personal statistics for a region or country or state or county or month or year, every combination in between. And just like any human being, as soon as you start to keep score, you want to compete. So arranging these people's names and numbers on this list, I'm number 5, is one of the most important and popular pages on our site. There's no endorphin rush like seeing your name on a list, especially when it's above your friend's total. So the power of the crowd suddenly made us able to visualize bird distribution, migration in new ways, whether it's migration or a range map like this, interactive range map where you can zoom in and figure out exactly where to find that purple finch. So bird watchers have started planning their birding outings around these maps and trying to figure out how to go find the next species. Sorry. So to truly succeed, we needed to take eBird away from Ithaca, away from a web-based platform, and make it global, mobile, and multilingual. And this slide's showing eBird profile pages from all around the world that are connecting birdwatchers from Iceland to Iran and Tierra del Fuego to Thailand, all united in this common cause of collecting bird data for the planet. So we're committed to providing this data completely free and open to anyone who wants to analyze it, but to actually be useful for science, we had to catch a different wave, which is big data. As it turned out, it wasn't the ornithologists, but rather computer scientists who were looking for curated data sets with lots of patterns to try to detect that dove into this 400 million record data set and suddenly gave birth to this whole new field of big data ornithology all around eBird. So this map is showing little dots, which are the centroids of bird ranges. And here in spring, you see them start to stream north to their breeding grounds. And I'm going to have you focus just on the dots way out to the east as they head back south on a more leisurely fall migration. Those are little songbirds taking the shortcut to South America all the way out over the ocean. There's a whole textbook of bird migration biology we could talk about with this, but I'm in a time crunch. So we'll look at an individual species. This is magnolia warbler, little yellow and black bird. The entire population packs into that little area in the Yucatan Peninsula, then migrates north and spreads out across all of Canada. And if you think about the conservation implications of this hugely widespread breeding bird, then wintering in this really tight area, then you'll be glad to hear that these models were used in a tri-national State of the Birds report with Canada, Mexico, and the United States last year to really prioritize that Yucatan forest and make sure it's protected into the future. So while the science and conservation uses of eBird are really inspirational, we actually think that its greatest power is the ability to connect birdwatchers, connect new people to the environment through birds. And this process always used to start with a traditional field guide. You'd open this thing up, it's 400 pages long, there's 800 birds in this thing, and you'd open up looking for this thing and you'd find 30 pages of yellow birds with black streaks on their breast. I can only imagine how many would-be bird watchers gave up on the process at that point. And then you try to think about a millennial doing that today. So we get rid of the field guide, and now we draw on eBird to deliver to your phone site-specific lists of likely species for anywhere on the planet. And I'm going to play a little video here.
If you've ever wondered, what is that bird? Let Merlin help you unlock the mystery. Merlin is a new app from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. It makes bird identification easier by showing you the birds in your own area that match what you've seen. Merlin asks you a few simple questions. When and where did you see the bird? What did it look like? And what was it doing? Almost like magic, Merlin shows you the most likely species for your area on that day. But these aren't wild guesses. Merlin knows which birds are near you by tapping into eBird, a database with millions of sightings from birders around the world. It finds out which species you're most likely to encounter and tailors results for your location.
So the Merlin app now has over 1 million downloads. We're translating it into Spanish and Portuguese, expanding it to Mexico, Central America, Brazil, and Europe. And it really gives us hope that If we can continue to engage more bird watchers to contribute their data, and then continue to grow more bird watchers from the ground up through apps like Merlin, the birds really can save the world.